time for the ADD generation, America's first competition talk show.
The Hub is engaging.
Talk life.
Good day and welcome to The Hub. I'm your host, Joel Aaron, with you all week long on The Hub Internet Show. And congratulations goes out to Nate for winning his round of the Faceoff Debate last week on the show. Couldn't make it with us this week, but he will be back on next week to defend his seat on the panel. We'll look forward to having him there. You can cast your vote in the comments section of the YouTube video or shoot us an email, talk@thehubshow.tv, to tell us who wins this week's Face-Off Debate. A little bit later on in the segment, we'll have Mark up against Lourdes, and Leak, Mark, Lourdes, and Insurance Commissioner candidate Maria Sheffield are with us on the program all week long, so we will get into a debate here just in a little while longer between Lourdes and Mark. But I want to just start out by talking a little bit about the Twitter phenomenon going on in the country right now, and specifically how the State Department and two of the younger members of the State Department have been using this just recently. Alec Ross and Jared Cohen were kind of slapped on the knuckles a couple of weeks ago when they made a trip to Syria, where the two of them were taking a lot of different folks. They were taking actually some corporations, including Cisco and Microsoft and Google and some of those guys, and they were going over to try and repair some of the relations between the U.S. and Syria, since I don't know I could possibly be so bad. We've had them on a terrorist watch list for a number of years now, but the idea here was to use new technology to bring us together, help the world make it a better place. And while they were there, they made the unfortunate decision of texting, of twittering some of the goings on that they were having in the community. One of which was Alec, I believe, challenged a communications director in Syria to a cake eating contest. And he decided to tweet that to half the known world. Now, normally this wouldn't be a problem, but Alec has like 350,000 followers on Twitter. And all of a sudden, this got all over the news. And the other thing, and then Jared decided he would go into a Syrian university and tweet back to half the known world that they make a better iced latte there than they did here. Now, quite frankly, I don't know, and they get an American-style iced latte that's better in Syria than it is here, and they got all offended by that. I quite frankly want to call his bluff, because until Organo Gold and the Hub Cafe showed up in the U.S., you couldn't get any better coffee than you could get here, than you could get with us now. So, I mean, quite frankly, if you haven't checked out coffeecapitalist.com yet, you are wasting your day until you do. So you need to do that right after you finish this segment. Now, I just want to bring this up, though. Do you think that, if international politics are all about controlled messaging, is really adding a social networking to the equation really a good idea? Or are we just setting ourselves up for disaster with these kind of activities going on? I mean, the whole purpose of this trip was to bring the world together around new technology and social networking features. Are we working against ourselves by doing this? Lourdes, what say you?
It's just those little tweeter things, that just, I guess, upset people just overall. I mean, I don't see a problem with what they did, to be honest with you. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I mean, I understand that the rest of the world and how they deal with issues and politics and everything is a lot different than what we do. But how do we fix something that's already been out there and caused such a commotion? I mean, But now Lourdes is not a twit, so she can't exactly speak that. I don't want anybody to know where I'm at.
She's not tweeterific, so I mean, take it for a grain of salt. Is this subject matter expertise, or am I just kind of talking out of turn here? Mark, what are you? You're not a twit either, are you?
No, I don't Twitter either.
Okay.
So, but the way I look at it is the world's changed. Communications happens in seconds now, So. How can we fight that? I mean, it's difficult to change that. We can keep our privacy and do things in regard to that, but in terms of instant communication, I think that's just the world that we're in, even if it's intentional or unintentional.
Yeah, but I mean, and they said, this was a little bit of youthful indiscretion. These guys are pretty young and they're new with the State Department. I mean, I can get that. Youthful indiscretion wasn't a big deal until it could be broadcast through the world through social networking platforms. So, Leak, does this raise concerns about our future relationships with the Middle East, as if this was not the least of our worries? It is the least of our worries.
Someone thought it was relevant for NCAA athletes not to go on Twitter. Perhaps officials with the United States State Department don't need to make their minute-by-minute, cavalier, dilettante observations made.
But I got to toss this to Maria because, quite frankly, do we even really need to be having this type of a trip in Syria for this type of a goal of increasing relations there? Because I think of the Syrian government right now. They're so much like us. They have an executive, judicial, and legislative branch, and a president, and they're going over there and talking with Bashar al-Assad, the president. And I mean, when you look at the government model there in Syria, it's controlled by the Ba'ath Party, which is a socialistic, communist, nationalistic group that is dedicated to standing against Western imperialism. How could they possibly be anything but hostile to us?
Well, first, I have to say that I'm awfully distracted by this, and I'm thinking that I really need Mr. Cohen on my campaign staff because as a statewide candidate, to have 300,000+ followers on Twitter, he's on to something there.
He's doing something right.
I'm going to be Twittering him afterwards and seeing what he can tell me about that. And I'm wondering, too, was he smart enough to let the Syrian minister win the cake-eating contest? Because that may have helped improve relations. But
that true enough. It worked for the hot dog.
But I don't know. When I sit here and I think about the whole issue of Twittering and Facebook is the fact that you don't have to be there in person. So why do we spend taxpayer dollars to send them over there, sit in their office in D.C.?
Good point. You'd be more effective if you just open up Facebook and YouTube and just learn how to do it from home.
Exactly.
And, we could have done this entire trip on GoToMeeting.com. We wasted a whole lot of money, but everybody got to go to Syria on the government dime, so we all feel a lot better about it. All right, time for a face-off debate. We have Mark versus Lourdes. They're going to talk up a topic going on in L.A. right now, where apparently we have an issue. We have an issue in that Los Angeles is a little overpopulated last time we checked. Yeah, just a tad.
I get claustrophobic in the airport.
Yes. Just walking through. Even when you're on a connector flight and you only got 10 minutes. The idea is that LA is overpopulated. They're not able to keep up with the trash they create. Apparently, they are behind the eight ball on creating the landfills and creating all the trucks and things that they need in the city to try and deal with literally the trash that the population creates. So the big question is, how do you take out the trash in LA? How do you fix the problem? 90 seconds on the clock, 45 seconds per person. Mark, sorry to say it, but ladies first. Lourdes, you get the first say. Go.
I'm going to be a little right directly into the point since I only have 45 seconds. Basically, I get rid of the illegal immigrants. Just seriously, just start shipping them,
with their trash,
wherever their trash is. I mean, seriously, I think that cities especially what went on with Arizona and everything like that. I mean, that just was an eye opener, I think, to the whole country. And my parents are immigrants, okay, but they legally did the right thing. I mean, they came when they were 16 years old. They fled communism with Fidel Castro, and they worked and they pay taxes, and you do what you're supposed to do. Situations like this and problems like this happen only because it's overpopulated, and a lot of, I hate to say it, but especially that part of the country, there's a problem there. And I think now is when people are finally, beginning to realize that, oh, well, wait a minute, we do have a problem. And, I just say, deal with it in those areas and start focusing on just bringing people back to the country.
Right, so you can see the context, yes. Even though you and your parents are Lourdes Valdez, Russian immigrants to the U.S.
Cuban.
Whatever. So close.
Cuba, Russia, we're in the Caribbean.
So close. So far away. Mark, 45 seconds. Go.
Well, I think that one of the ways to handle it is technology. You just have so much room to put the garbage and so much money to invest in hauling the garbage that apparently they're running out of. So in my mind, you perhaps have a tax or a tax on the local residents or maybe even on a larger area to work on a fund that will figure out a way to dispose of it without actually having to use so much space. To me, it's a technology answer. I'm not an expert by any means in the garbage removal business, nor do I want to be. But to me, that would be a logical solution.
Yeah. Or get rid of the Hollywood crowd, or just tax the freeloaders. You could take care of trash pickup for the whole state. We'll see you tomorrow on The Hub.